Hello everybody, Jim Phillips here. Welcome to another episode of Java with Jim. It's a pleasure to be with you again this morning or afternoon or evening, depending upon where you are on this beautiful planet. It's good to be back and having another conversation. Hopefully you've enjoyed the other episodes that I've recently posted. Today I'm going to talk about something that gets brought up time and time again. And I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail on it because it's actually three different topics that are very compelling. They are, I think, very interesting, but we can also go down a rabbit hole in each one of them. So I'm just going to do a brief overview, and I'm going to get to one very specific point that I think is really important to make. So the three topics are reincarnation, past lives, which is a variation, I guess, of reincarnation, and then the other one is karma. So the three: reincarnation, previous lives, and karma. So let's start with previous lives. A lot of us have had people tell us, we've gone through life regression sessions, we've had people tell us we've lived these different lives, we've been told we live these really important lives, and we have a sense of, I think we have a sense of who we think we are now based on what we obtained from those sessions that we did through other people doing those for us. And while I do believe that we have previous lives, I know that I've had many previous lives, and I've had some fairly significant ones that I was given information on. But I always ask a question. I said, why is it I cannot remember those previous lives? Other than what somebody is telling me about what took place, who I was, how I engaged, what my role was. I mean, all of those things that I think are questions that we would all have. Why don't I remember any of it? And of course, we can say, well, we've been told that once we incarnate again into this life we're currently living, we conveniently forget everything. Well, I mean, that's interesting too, and maybe that's a part of it. But I asked a question, and those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I go on early morning walks and I ask questions specifically about topics that I need answers on, or I have an issue that I'm trying to work through, and I want the best guidance that I can possibly get. So past lives was one of those. I've been given all this information. I'm not going to get into the type of lives that I've been told that I've lived. So I raised the question. I said, why don't I remember any of those previous lives? Why don't I remember any of the conditions behind it? Why don't I remember any of the roles that I played? And the answer that immediately came to me was, because if you knew, you would spend too much time thinking back on those previous lives and not enough time on the life you're living. And think about that. That makes a lot of sense. We would spend too much time, especially if we were told we were somebody famous or somebody that did something that was notorious, or some, just anybody that had some sort of fame, whether it's good or bad fame, it doesn't really matter. But we would rely on that, or we would also use it as an excuse. Well, the reason I am the way I am today is because of what happened during these previous lives. So I found that to be very valuable guidance to me, so I don't think about it. I don't worry about what happened in previous lives. So then the whole idea of reincarnation, which when we think about it now, it's about, okay, what life will I live beyond the one I'm currently living? And wondering whether or not we do. Wondering whether or not once this life is over, once I pass from this world in this particular incarnation, will I come back? And I believe in reincarnation. I believe, although reincarnation is not necessarily the correct term to use, we do come back and we do live another life. The essence of who we are never dies. So there isn't any reincarnation of that. It's just that the essence of who we are comes back in a different form, a different body, if you will. At least that's my belief. So we think about reincarnation, I'm just going to use that term, and whether or not reincarnation is real, or if it's a thing, I would just ask a couple of questions. One would be, why would a child be born and have some devastating deformity, or have cancer, or something like that, and only live to be 2, 3, 4 years old? What would be the purpose of that? And why would that particular soul, when we have that as their one and only opportunity to live, and to experience and express in this world. So I believe that that is not the case. I believe that we're given multiple opportunities because it's not a one and done proposition. The other way that I look at it is, why would I be born into the circumstances into which I'm born in the United States as a white male and have the opportunities that I have versus other people who were born in other countries, third world countries, if you will, that are born into civil war and strife, and that happens to be their life experience. Why would I be given what would be perceived to be better opportunities than those other people? Again, I don't believe it's a one and done proposition. I think we're given every opportunity to live as many lives as necessary to gain the experiences that the soul requires to continuous expansion, continuous understanding of itself, and to just constantly expand, because I believe that's the purpose of the soul. It's for continuous expansion, understanding, creation. All of those things come into play. So then the whole idea of karma, I'm just going to do that real quick. And karma to me is nothing more than cause and effect. And we can think about the fact that well, what I did in a previous life, again, getting back to having previous lives and reincarnation, if something that I did in a previous life, I'm coming back and living the life that I'm currently living right now, when things happen to me, is it as a result of something that I did in a previous life? I don't believe there's a punishment system like that. I don't believe that's how it works, but I do believe that two things. I do believe that there's an opportunity as a soul who has passed on from one life and is in the spirit world, that as it reflects on its previous life, the life just ended, or even previous lives prior to that, there is the opportunity given not so much to correct what was done, but to have the experience of what was done, to see whatever was done or whatever the circumstances were from a totally different point of view, to gain that greater understanding of the truth, the absolute truth, as opposed to one perspective that one would gain through the experiences they have during a lifetime. So the whole idea of karma to me, it's not a punishment system, but it is cause and effect, and then it also is choice. The choices I just mentioned that the soul would have coming from one life and then reincarnating into another life where they have that opportunity. You can say correct it if you want, but I don't think it's a punishment. I think it's a conscious decision made by that soul as it incarnates into this particular lifetime. And then the karmic effect, if you will, while we're living is nothing more than cause and effect. When you do something, there is going to be an effect of it. The cause of it was the action you took, the thoughts you have, the feelings you've had or have, and then whatever the consequence of that would be. That could be called karma as well. So it's cause and effect. Now, we can talk about future lives, and we can say that the karma of our future life could be dependent upon the life that I'm living right now. And there's no question that what you do right now could impact your future lives beyond the current one, but keep in mind it also impacts your current life as you move through the balance of whatever number of years you have left on this planet. So we have to be mindful and very conscious of the choices we make, the thoughts we have, the actions we take, how we interact with other people. We have to be consciously aware of our feelings, because our feelings are really what are dictating the actions that we take and the thoughts that we have and the beliefs that we hold. It's all about the feelings that we have that are behind it. So to sum this all up, I talked about previous lives, the significance of them in that, yes, we have had previous lives, and yes, we will have additional lives beyond the one we're currently living. But knowing what happened in the previous life and trying to pin what's happening in the current life on what happened in the previous life, and then constantly looking back and trying to remember or trying to figure out what that previous life might mean as it's being translated through my actions today, it doesn't make any sense, because what we totally miss is the opportunity we're in today, this exact moment that we're in, the life that we're in. And then the future lives are going to be impacted by all of those same things. If I spend too much time worrying about or thinking about what happened in a previous life, then I'm missing the opportunity to create something totally different, something totally new, something much grander than what I've had before. That's going to impact the future of this current life that I'm in, because every decision I make, every thought I have, every belief I hold is going to impact what happens in subsequent moments and days and weeks and months and years of this current life. And then when I finish this lifetime, certainly if I've had what I believe could be determined to be a good life, maybe I don't have anything when I come back in the subsequent life that I have to consider, that I have to either undo, or that I have to better understand, or that I have to, what am I trying to say, have to work through or get the other perspective on. Maybe I'm done with a particular aspect of whatever this life held, and I don't have to worry about that. And the next life is really about just further expansion, just further understanding, further creation. And in doing all of that, it's about making the planet a better place as well and helping humanity. So the important key, and I know I'm belaboring this a little bit, but the key to all of this is the only life that's really important is the life you're living right now. That's it. It doesn't matter what happened before. It doesn't matter what's going to happen in the future. Again, because what happens right now in this moment is going to influence what happens in each subsequent moment, each day, each week, each year, and so on. Pay attention to what's happening today. Get clear on the life you want to live. Get clear on who it is you want to be and express in this lifetime. Be clear on what it is and how you want to interact with and contribute to the betterment of humanity. But it all begins with you. How do you want your life to unfold? How do you want to experience and express in this lifetime as the physical being that you are? That's going to determine the quality of this life. It's going to determine the quality of the lives of those people around you. Not determine, I shouldn't say determine, it's going to influence it. It influences it based on the amount of allowing that other people allow your influence on them to have. But it's about this lifetime. We've got to live this lifetime. We've got to be available. We've got to be open to each moment. We've got to be open to the opportunities we're given. We have to be open to the fact, and this is the truth, that everything and anything we need is available to us right now in this moment. There's nothing we have to do. There's nothing that has to happen before we receive it, other than our opening ourselves to receive every bit of goodness that life has to offer. I hope this provides some insight for you, some clarity on it. As I mentioned, it's 3 really good topics that we can really dig deeply in. This was just kind of an overview to put things in perspective and just help everyone understand that the life you're living is the most important life possible, and that by you placing your attention and intention and your consciousness, your conscious awareness on this life, the better this life is going to be, the better and more you're going to impact and influence other people, and the more you're going to benefit the whole of humanity. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. I look forward to another episode of Java with Jim. If you want more information on some of the other work that I do, you can go to my website, livinginfullexpression.com. There you can find a lot of other articles that I've done, blog posts, things of that nature. Some videos are on there. I don't have any events scheduled, but I'll start putting events on there. If you want to attend any of the events, you can certainly order my book, The Key to Life Living in Full Expression. That is available there as well as on Amazon. But I look forward to continuing these conversations. If you have any questions, I invite you to ask the questions, put it in the comment section of whatever platform you're watching this video on, and I will get back to you, or perhaps it'll turn into another video of Java with Jim in the future. Again, I appreciate you. I thank you. Enjoy your life. Make the most of it. Take care. Be well. Bye now.